Hello everyone, this is Lynn from Hey Lynn Vintage and welcome back to another Retro Cooking Wednesday. Today we are doing California casserole. We are working our way through those Pillsbury bake-offs. This is 1956 number 8 winner, Hildreth Hathaway. Some places called her Margaret, so maybe it was Hildreth Margaret, I don't know. Hildreth Hathaway won the 1956 bake-off for a casserole. This is the California casserole. 1956 soup was just becoming on the market, you know, like the canned soups and all that stuff. Casseroles were a big staple in all the American homes, so not surprised that it did win a recipe contest. This one, though, had veal in it, which back in the 50s, we used to raise our cattle with a surplus of corn, and of course there was a lot more veal available. Currently, I couldn't find any. I could find ground veal, but I couldn't find any just veal. So I used pork in my casserole, and it came out very well. So let's get to that ingredient table, and let's make Mrs. Hathaway's California casserole. I'll see you at that ingredient table. All right, ingredients for California casserole. It did call for veal, but I mean, if you guys have tried to buy veal lately, we can get ground veal, but trying to get like stuff to cut up into cubes. I mean, back in the 50s, it was more abundant, but anyways. So I have a pork roast here that I'm going to it's like 4 pounds. So I'm only going to use half of this, cube this up. We do have a 1/3 cup of flour, a teaspoon of paprika. We do need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper, a 1/3 of a cup of oil that we will brown our meat into. And then we need 2.5 cups of water. We're going to, once we brown, we like simmer this for a while, and then we'll add cream of chicken soup. And then we were supposed to have a jar of pearl onions, but I was looking for veal, forgot to grab onions. So I'm going to saute this up and add just regular diced up onion to it. And so let's get this cut up and browned. All right, so we got our our pork cut up into 1-inch cubes. We're going to add our 1/3 cup of flour to a bag and our teaspoon of paprika. Give this a good shake, and then we are going to brown it on the stove. All right, we got our pan on. We're going to add our 1/4 cup of oil, let this warm up a little bit, and then we're going to brown our beautiful, well, I would have liked to have tried veal. I haven't had veal in forever, but I'm going to make sure that this gets a little bit warm before we throw it all in there. So I usually want to make sure that I'm hearing that sizzle before I put my meat in here. We don't want to poach it, which will happen if we just throw this all in. We're going to then drop the temperature of our pan. So let's slowly add some of our coated cubed meat, and let's get this browned up. Okay, our meat is all browned. We're going to add our 1/2 teaspoon of salt and our 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. Mix that around. And then we are going to add a cup of water. So we have our cup of water, and we're supposed to let this simmer, I believe for 30 minutes. I will check on that. Yes, bring to a boil, cut to a simmer, and let it simmer uncovered for 30 minutes. Okay, so our meat's been simmering for a half hour with the lid off. So then we're going to add it to this casserole dish. I love the lid on this Pyrex dish. And to that pan, We're going to add our cream of chicken soup and 1.5 cups of water. And you're supposed to mix in those pearl onions, the jar of onions into here. But I'm going to like saute these off a little bit and then add my soup and my water. Bring that to a boil and then add it over the pork that we will put in this dish. All right, we put our pork over into our casserole dish. I'm going to add that 1 onion diced up because we don't have jarred onions. Another thing that's expensive now that probably wouldn't have been then. Little piece of pork got away. All right, so I'm just gonna let this saute a little bit, and then I'm going to add our water and our cream of chicken soup. All right, our onions are softened a little bit. We're going to add our soup. Ooh, gotta love that, right? And then we're going to add 1.5 cups of water and let this come to a boil. All right, when this comes to a boil, we are going to pour it on top of our pork mixture. Okay, everything is in here, combined. Now we're going to make some dumplings to go on the top of this. Let's get that started. Okay, for the dumplings, I have 2 cups of flour in here, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, and then I've got like a mixture of a teaspoon of poppy seed, celery seed, a teaspoon of poultry seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. That's going to go in there. And then we need a 1/4 cup of oil. And then it's approximately a cup of milk. We just want to get this softened. And then once we roll these, our dumplings, then we're going to melt a 1/4 cup of butter with a 1/2 cup of dry breadcrumbs. Mix that together, and then we roll our dumplings into the breadcrumbs and then place that onto our casserole and bake it. All right, 2 cups of flour, 4 teaspoons of our baking powder. We're going to mix that around. All of our seasoning, we're going to mix that in. And then we will mix in our 1/4 cup of oil. Mix our 1/4 cup of oil in. So we do just want this to come together, and we're going to add our milk. I'm not going to do it all at once. Let's just get this moistened. All right, butter melted. 1/2 cup of breadcrumb. We're going to mix that in. And then we are supposed to roll our dumplings in this mixture. Let's get this nice and mixed. I've never done dumplings this way. So we are going to take our rounded by 1 tablespoon, roll them into the breadcrumb mixture, place them on the top of our casserole. So we're just rolling, placing those in there. And then once we get these all placed in here, We are going to 425 for 25 minutes. And then there's a sauce that we're going to make to serve it with. Another can of chicken soup and a cup of sour cream and a quarter cup of milk. We just bring that to a boil. Okay, the sauce we need to make, we just put it in a saucepan and bring it to a boil for 2 minutes. 1 can of chicken, 1 can of cream of chicken soup, a quarter cup of milk, and 8 ounces of sour cream. So this is 16, obviously. I'm just going to use half of this. Just bring this to a boil, and then we pour this over our casserole and serve it with it. Make it fancy. All right, we're out of the oven and brown and bubbly. We're going to let it cool off. We've got our sauce made already here. That's just the cream of chicken soup, 8 ounces of sour cream, and I think it's a cup of water. I'll make sure I put it in here. All right, my thoughts on California casserole. You know what? It was really good. A lot of extra steps that I think you could pare down. I don't really think that it needed the sauce on the top, but it does make it look a little fancy. And I really like the dumplings. I really like the dumplings that are in it. I like how they were rolled in the breadcrumb. It made them crunchy and stand out a little bit more. So I did really enjoy that. I liked the sauce. I did like the sauce that was on the top. I just thought it was a little much. But, you know, when you look for California casseroles, you see all kinds of them with all kinds of vegetables and all kinds of stuff. So it was just a little odd to not have any vegetables in it. But if you wanted to eat it with a side salad, it was really good. It was really good. Scott had some and he really, really enjoyed it. He really liked the dumplings that were in it also. So I would give it a shot. I would make it with pork. You could probably make it with pork, chicken, whatever you would want. Just, you know, make sure that you throw the flour in there, whatever you're going to do. Brown that. You would just do the same steps with whatever meat that you would want to use with that. Chicken thighs, chicken breast, you could probably use any of that. And I think it would just be fine. So next week, we are doing accordion treats. I have no idea what those are. And I'm really interested, and I'm sure you're interested too. So stay tuned next week. But with that being said, this is Lynn from Halo Vintage. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.